You're fed up with the direction your country is taking. You're fed up with your government constantly sticking their hands into your pockets without your consent. We get it. That's why we live out in Asia. But before you make any big moves, there are a few things that you need to consider. What I'm talking about here is what I'll call the Residency Quadrant, and you need to get these things in order before you make a big move. There are 4 parts to this, and you want to find the best combination that works best for your situation, and everyone's situation will be different. Everyone has different income levels. Some people are in business, some people are living off investments. We all have different priorities in what we're looking for, and giving consideration to all of these factors as part of this Residency Quadrant will help determine where to give the most weighting into what is going to steer you in what direction you want to take and where you want to set yourself up out in Asia or anywhere else for that matter. So what am I talking about here? Well, the 4 parts to this Residency Quadrant are: where do you want to live? Where do you want to pay tax? Where do you want to do business? And where do you want to invest? Now, before we get into this, if you're looking for help with a relocation plan and you want to test out any possible scenarios that might work best for you in regards to visas, taxation, incorporation, investing, any of these kinds of things, head over to offshoreinasia.com. You can book in a consult call there. You can also send us an email and we'll have a chat. We'll do what we can to help you get along your way, living out here, doing business here, investing here, whatever it is that you want to do. So first up, where do you want to live? This is your physical residency, which can often be the same as your tax residency, but it does not have to be the same. So we're talking about things here like your lifestyle. What are you looking for? Do you want to be near a beach? Do you want to be near a big city? Do you want to be in more of a modern country, or do you like the older traditional style of Asia? Are you looking for cost of living benefits? Are you struggling back in Australia? Are you struggling back in the US or Europe? Do you want to live in a low-cost country like Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam? Or if the cost of living isn't such an issue, you might be looking at Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore. Are you looking to live in a Buddhist country such as Thailand or Laos? Or maybe you're looking for a Muslim country like Malaysia or Indonesia. Or perhaps you're a Christian or a Catholic and you want to live in somewhere like the Philippines. And just on that, all of these countries, there's many different religions in Asia. They are all very welcoming of people, regardless of which religion you follow, or even if you don't follow a religion at all. But for some people living in a country that has a religion that is similar to their country back home or similar to their own beliefs, just helps them feel a lot more comfortable, makes them feel a little bit less like a fish out of water. And for some people, it's not really an issue at all. So that's your physical residency. Where do you want to live? The next thing is your tax residency. Where do you want to be taxed as an individual? Your physical residency that we just spoke about will have a lot of bearing on this, but it doesn't have to be. Particularly if you are someone who likes to move around a little bit, then you can mix up a few different physical residency locations and not have them impact too much on where you want to be a tax resident. But you need to be a tax resident of somewhere, especially if you're looking at exiting the tax system in your home country. If you're an Australian, for example, you will need to pin down a location somewhere else that is going to be your new tax home. You just cannot become a resident of nowhere like some people used to do in the past. Sure, some people still do it, but you're sort of playing with fire, and even if you do get away with it, you are going to have a very difficult time in trying to open up bank accounts and that sort of thing. So you really want to have a tax home. It's going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to give you a lot more certainty around your planning, where you want to invest and that sort of thing, and be able to have some surety that you're doing things in a legitimate way. Also, the kinds of investments that you are in is going to have some bearing on this, because for a lot of people, they will want to have their tax residency in a country that has favorable tax treatment for their particular investments. So if a lot of your income comes from trading crypto, this will have a bearing on where you want to have a tax home. If you have a lot of offshore income, you might want to live somewhere that doesn't tax foreign sourced income. If you're expecting some big capital gains, you may want to set yourself up somewhere that doesn't tax capital gains. Same goes for if you have a pension, if you earn dividends. All countries have a different treatment, and the good thing about Asia is there are some pretty good tax benefits for various types of income depending on what you are looking for. So we have plenty of room here to optimize an individual's tax situation depending on what kind of investments and what kind of income they have. Now, the third type of residency is corporate residency. where do you do business? And for plenty of people, they'll be looking to incorporate in a place that has low taxation. So you might be looking at somewhere like Labuan in Malaysia. You might be looking at the new Forest City Special Financial Zone in Malaysia. You might be looking at the FAB free zone area in the Philippines that doesn't charge any corporate tax. Or you might be looking at more of a regular jurisdiction that has a low taxation rate like Hong Kong or Singapore. But the beauty of corporate residency is it doesn't have to be where you live. Just because you're living in Asia doesn't mean you need to incorporate in Asia. You can still live in Asia and incorporate in the Emirates. You can still live in Asia and incorporate in the British Virgin Islands. There is a lot of flexibility around this. And yes, we are offshore in Asia, but just because we focus predominantly on Asia doesn't mean that we won't recommend an option outside of Asia for corporate residency if that makes the most sense for you. Are you looking for low cost of running your setup? If you are looking for a low cost, you may avoid somewhere like Labuan and go to somewhere like Hong Kong instead. Are you looking for low regulation and a low administrative burden? In that case, you may avoid somewhere like Singapore and go, and not to say Singapore is over-regulated, but you're going to have a few less boxes to tick and have a little bit of an easier time at it in somewhere like Hong Kong. Now you can have the whiz-bang corporate setup, but if you can't operate, then it's no good to you. If you can't receive payments, if you can't open a bank account, it's no good to you. It needs to be somewhere that you can function. There's no point having a 0% tax rate if you can't get paid and you can't get your money out. That said, if you're looking for more of a holding company setup that is going to just hold assets or hold IP and not trade as such, then it will be less of an issue. And in that similar vein, you may want to be in a jurisdiction that is highly regarded on the international stage, or you may not. So it's the same kind of thing here. If you're incorporated in a jurisdiction that is on a blacklist, if the EU doesn't like it, if the OECD doesn't like it, then you may have a harder time getting access to banking services and so on. But if you were incorporated in somewhere like Singapore, which is quite highly regarded, you're not going to have too many issues in that respect. Now, the last part of the residency equation is your investment residency, or where do you want to invest? And here we're looking at things like which markets do you want access to? Do you want access to developed Asian markets? Do you want access to emerging markets? Which stock exchanges do you want access to? There are many stock exchanges in Asia, but for a lot of people, they'll be looking at Singapore or Hong Kong. Singapore in particular, and also Hong Kong, are quite highly developed stock market localities, and they will often allow you to invest in many parts of the world, many parts of Asia, through your brokerage in Singapore or through your brokerage in Hong Kong. Are you looking to buy property? Do you want to buy land? If you do want to buy land, you're going to be limited. You can buy land in Malaysia, for example, but you can't in Thailand or the Philippines. Unless you set up a company with majority local ownership, then it can be done, but this won't be for everyone either. For a lot of people, they will prefer to own property 100% in their own name. Now, when it comes to condos, a lot of countries are quite open in allowing 100% foreign ownership. So if you'd like to keep the ownership sitting with you and not bring on any other partners or operate through a foreign company, then a condo might be best for you if you are looking to get into property. Perhaps with that, your capital growth prospects might be limited, so there's all trade-offs with this kind of thing. It depends what you're looking for and what you're comfortable with. Now, are you looking to just purely invest to make money, or are you looking for some kind of residency by investment program or citizenship by investment program? Well, there are a few programs available in Asia. So if you're looking for residency, Thailand has a program. Malaysia has a program. If you're looking for citizenship, Cambodia and the Philippines both have RBI programs that can be converted into citizenship down the track. Now, depending on what you're investing in here, there are going to be different tax obligations. So if you're looking to invest in equities, then Singapore and Hong Kong are a pretty good way to go because they both don't tax dividends and they both don't tax capital gains. And if you're more of a property guy, then you'll be looking at the tax implications as well, because some countries don't tax property at the regular income rate for the country. They might have a separate rate just for property. This will be in relation to both rental income and capital gains on the sale. So you want to have a bit of an understanding of how these things are working, depending on your timeline for holding a property and what you're going to mainly use it for, whether it's an income property or a capital gains property or a combination of both. So to sum all that up, you've got your 4 residency things here you've got to give consideration to. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to pay personal tax? Where do you want to pay business tax? And where do you want to invest and pay tax on your investments? There are a lot of moving parts here and it can get very intricate and very complicated, but it doesn't have to either. For a lot of people, they might not be in business, they might have minimal investments, they might just have investments back in their home country, or they might just be living off a pension. For people like this, it's going to be less complicated. For other people who have more going on, who have a business, who have assets they want to invest in, it's going to get more complicated, but there is also more opportunity to optimize as well. There is a lot of things that can be done in this part of the world to operate quite efficiently. And when you combine the tax savings with the cost of living savings, it can be a really good way to get ahead a lot quicker than you will be able to do so in somewhere like Australia, the UK, or the US. But how optimized you want to get is entirely up to you. That's the beauty of it. Now, if you want help with any of this stuff, we can help you to work through a situation that is going to be good for you. We can help you to identify which of these 4 residency types you perhaps should be giving more weight to, because there is no one perfect solution. A lot of these things tend to have trade-offs that come with them. If you want something here, you might have to give up something over there. So it's just working out what is more important to you. If you're making a lot of money, if you have a business that's doing really well, then you might look to give more weighting towards the corporate residency and also the personal tax residency. If you're retired, if you're just making a little bit of income, you're probably going to give more weighting towards the lifestyle or the physical residency. Or if you have a lot of investments that you've built up over the years, you want to give weighting to that as well. Where are you going to put your investments, your investment residency? So if you want help with any of this stuff, head over to offshoreinasia.com. You can book in an email there. You can book in a consult call there. This is what we do. So we're here to help you guys get ahead to basically design the lifestyle that you want. It's not all about lowering taxation. That can be part of it. For a lot of people, it is part of it. Whatever it is that is more important to you, we can help you to work out a way to do it that will work best for you. We'll leave it there, guys. Thank you for watching, and catch you later.